you have any questions during my demonstration, you can ask me and I will try to answer your questions immediately, okay? I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of mechanical clocks in the Black Forest and how the cuckoo clocks are made. Let's start with this piece here. This is the first mechanical clock made in the Black Forest. People will say, this is not the original one, it's a replica. But people say it was made in 1640, about 500 years ago. This kind of clock was made by farmers during winter time to earn a little extra money. And as you can see, the structure is still very simple, mostly made out of wood, and we had a stone as a weight. You can also have a look at this clock here, it's very similar. We only had one hand, so it wasn't very accurate timing, and together with the stone, where the weight always changed a little bit, varied a little bit, it wasn't very accurate. And at the end of the day, it was plus minus 1 hour. And on the top, we had a wood beam that was the pendulum. Back then, the pendulum was still on the top. So that was 1690. About 50 years later, the painted face clock was made, and the painted face clock looked like this here. This is a painted face clock. And we now have 2 metal weights, we have 2 hands, and also a moving picture on the top that moves every half an hour once, and every 4 hours to tell the time. And this moving picture wasn't always linguistically correct.
Hitting the 100
yeah, this kind of funny moving picture is very typical for a Black Forest clock. You can also look at this one here. This was made slightly later than the painted face clock, but still, it's a moving picture. And this is a potato eater. Okay. The first modern design cuckoo clocks, as we know them today, were made in about 1860. And they look like this here. The shape of the house resembles a traditional railway station house, so we sometimes call it railway station clock. We also have 2 metal weights in the shape of a pine cone, 2 hands, and now we also have the cuckoo on the top. Okay. Now, how are they made? The first thing we need is the raw material, which is linden wood or brass wood would be another term for it. And the wood is being dried for about 4 years, otherwise it would split when working with it. The metal stencil is put onto the wood board and colors being sprayed. And then we have the forms, and the forms are then cut out by a sawing machine, like this one here. And after the sawing is done, we maybe have a piece like this here. And you can already guess this will be a front piece of a cuckoo clock later on. After the sawing is done, the more detailed work starts. You have a look at this table here. That's the carvings. The carvings, for the carving we also need the pieces of linden wood or brass wood, and of course carving tools like these ones. And an experienced carver would have 100 carving tools or 100 carving tools. And the carving is done by families in the Black Forest, and right now we have about 20 families doing the carvings. And every family member has its own special field, for example an animal or a leaf. Yeah. And if I show you a piece like this one, can you guess what this will later be when it's finished? Looks
Animal.
Like a deer? No, not so bad. If I show you like this, you will see. You will see the resemblance, right? It's a goat. And this, for example, will be a hunter. Hunter. So you can see there's a lot of handwork involved, and one clock, by the way, takes about 2 to 3 months to finish. I'll show you this one here. And this one also has music. And keep in mind that every traditional Black Forest clock is mechanical. You don't need batteries or anything. The only thing you need to do is to wind up the weights. And I will tell you now how that happens. Okay, we can move to this table, and I can show you the inside life of a cuckoo clock. Here you can see 2 examples. And the very central piece of every mechanical clock in general is the movement. And the movement looks like this. And the movement is powered by the movement of the weights. You can also feel free to grab the weights as well, and you will feel that we have heavy weights and light weights. And the difference is that clocks with heavy weights are 8-day clocks. That means without winding up, they will go 8 days, but they need to wind them up. And these are 1-day clocks. Small weights are 1-day clocks. And we need to wind them up within 24 hours, otherwise the clock will stop. And winding up is easy. You just pull the chain like this. This is how you wind up the clock. And during the week, these weights will go down slowly, so whenever you feel like it, you can wind the weights up and you will put it to go for another 8 days. And we have another difference. We have clocks with 2 weights and clocks with 3 weights. These are mostly 3 weights, and you have to imagine that every weight is responsible for one function. One weight is for the clock, the second weight is for the cuckoo. And if there's a third weight, it means there's music, or an additional movement, or usually also both. And the music comes from a little piece here on the side. You see this here? That's the music box. I will show you the single piece as well. This is the music box. It's only the only piece not from the Black Forest but from Switzerland. If I play it like this, you already can hear the music. And if I put it on a wooden table, you will hear it even clearer. So that's the music. And there's another element inside the cuckoo box. These 2 things, can you guess what these are? These wooden boxes. There's one element I haven't explained yet. It's a cuckoo sound. So these 2 things are whistles or bellows. And for the cuckoo sound, we need 2 different tones. So when they are moved, it sounds like that. So that's a cuckoo sound. Also in different sizes, depending on the size of the clock. Okay, that's how the cuckoo clock in general works. Okay, let's have a look.